What's going on, Steelers Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Texas Steel Podcast. I'm Pierce Trexler, joined as always by my main boy, Drake Greenstein.
Let's cook.
As always, we're ready to tap back into the Steelers season. As we approach the preseason, we got a few different things that have been going on, OTAs, all of the training camp stuff. D, how we feeling, bro?
Feeling good. If you're dead, asleep, or not alive, man, you have been missing out. It is Steelers training camp, baby. It's close. It's close. We got a lot to catch up on. But the hot, pressing issue right off the bat, Pierce, Russell Wilson, calf, done, out. Justin's been taking the field, repping with the ones.
Justin has had more first-team reps with the
throughout
starters
the whole
than
week.
Russell Wilson has by probably well over 50%.
Yes, I mean,
I'd say.
I feel like it's only appropriate for this is where we start. Is Justin, the reports coming out of Pittsburgh from Adam Schefter, is Justin has, as Tomlin said, had the pole position going into preseason and the regular season, but inside sources are now saying that because of his play, because he started off a little like shaky the first 2 days, but henceforth, man, moving forward, he's been impeccable. And especially the connection between him and Pickens. They are going off on 7 shots, which is the final drill they do. It's like 7 shots in the end zone between first-team offense and defense. I mean, what are you thinking, brother?
Yeah, man.
Is there any case in which you think Justin can actually be starting week 1 in Atlanta?
Truth be told, I don't think it'll be Justin taking the field week 1, wearing the helmet on with the green dot. But I think that there definitely is a chance and a window that if Russell Wilson isn't living up to expectations, knowing how hard the back end stretch of this season that we have, not that we're gonna be trying to be calling sirens and everything like that, but if we start maybe 1-3 down this stretch, there very well could be a plausibility for throwing in Fields as replacing Russell Wilson in that. But truth be told, I think if Russell Wilson is the guy that we know he is, and obviously this little calf injury aside, he's been kind of stretching. But did you see even how the injury happened, bro? Why are quarterbacks pushing
a sled?
sleds, man?
Yeah, Russell Wilson's pushing a sled in practice. All right, this is crazy. Russell Wilson threw his first pass attempt with pads just this Friday.
That's
so
insane. He's an entire week behind.
So this whole week, Justin's got reps with the ones. He's gotten better and better. He's cooking.
And I don't know if you saw this or not, but something that we've been lacking on the offensive side of the ball for a minute, Justin Fields gets a little late hit, and we had a little scrum at the practice.
Yeah.
Landon Roberts.
Scrums.
Little beef on Justin Fields. I'm sure it's tough whenever he's lightning around the field and you're not able to catch him, but got a little land on him, and then actually 4th round pick, Mr. McCormick himself was the first to get in there.
Love that.
So love the balls on that guy, honestly, man. That just goes to show the heart, the grit, and the unity that this offense is starting to build with
And
these young
they
guys.
all dapped up afterwards.
No, yeah, for sure. And it's all
it.
love, and they're all hanging out with the fans. Najee's looking happy at practice. So it just seems like overall, man, there's a really good energy and vibe.
Tomlin says to stoke the competitive fire. I like it.
Yes,
That's
we
good way
need
to put it.
And again, from this perspective, like even if Justin Fields is not going to be the starting quarterback going into the season or any different point at the season come mid-break, like unless it's due to injury, we're at least seeing his confidence being built right now, which I think is awesome because we know who Russell Wilson is. He knows who it is.
Not just that. There's 2 other things I'll add to that, but keep going.
But we know how he's going to perform. We know what we got in him. But at least for Justin Fields, with him to not just get down in the slumps and like regress or not want to push to continue to get better, this is getting his confidence up. So if that moment were to come, bearing injury, God forbid, or just having to step up to the plate due to a lack of performance on Russ's end, he's going to be ready, and he has already the team's backing behind him, which is awesome.
2 other things on top of confidence, a change of scenery, but the 2 big things that everyone plucked, as the big things that Justin would struggle with is deep ball accuracy and going through multiple reads, because he's always bailing to run.
For sure.
So Tomlin said going into training camp, he said, I want you to play instinctive, just basically telling Justin, I want you to play how you play. But Justin's not only done that, but he's also been going through his reads. You can watch a lot of the clips. I'll throw some on in this video from training camp. But he's going through his reads. He's finding Van Jefferson, finding Muth, finding Pickens most of all. But the second thing, too, he's been super accurate on the deep ball. He struggled the first few days, but now he's starting to hit on those intermediate, across the middle. We haven't seen a freaking pass across the middle of the field in 6 years, and we're starting to attack the middle of the field more than ever in any training camp since. So I'm super encouraged. I've told you since day one, whoever gives us the best chance to win, I want to be put out there. I'm not solely going to give Russ pole position due to experience. Now it plays a factor, but I'm not going to have that be the only reason. But I mean, at the moment, I'm scratching my head, starting to think, and I know Mike Tomlin's watching this saying,
he's liking how it's planning out.
He's probably pulling over, what's his name, Arthur Smith aside. He said, "You see that?
Yeah, no,
you see
for
that
sure.
young fella?"
Well, again, on that note, it's almost like, not to say that it would be two entirely completely different offenses depending on what guy's going in, but like we look at it this way, man, with how young and capable and athletic Justin Fields is. He's a quarterback that we could, if it pans out well and if we can kind of revive his career, someone that could be around here another decade damn near. Whereas Russ Wilson, maybe 3-4 good playable
really
years,
high quality
like,
years,
good enough to get a real window or a shot at a Super Bowl.
Would you agree with me too? Offense under Justin has far more upside due to his explosion. Because at the moment, Justin has more arm talent than Russ. He also has quicker legs than Russ. He's taller than Russ. So
couple inches taller.
Yeah.
3 or
So
4.
there's a lot of different components. I think Justin, if he were to continue up this path of developing, because I mean Chicago wasn't developing, everyone knows that. But I think Justin has a lot of potential. But offenses, I mean, we had the largest, outing. So the first 4 days of training camp, it was just running drills. Then we got the pads on Friday, and they had the tradition called Friday Night Lights. So they moved on to Latrobe, and they actually did like some 11v11, and Justin just thrived, man. He's been throwing bullets and dots. Got GP on a tutty, 70-yard touchdown today. Today's Sunday, and he's hitting them there. So
crazy. A
lot to be excited for, but you alluded to it earlier. We've had not only one scrum, but we've had multiple scrums. Starting with this was the third one, which was yesterday, the back versus backers drill. Ooh. So Peyton Wilson, Patrick Queen, among some other linebackers, Landon Roberts,
killers in that
versus
group.
The running backs, where they just go to work on pass protection drills, getting to the quarterback. And boy, did we see some shit talking take place.
Oh, yeah. Well,
you caught a glimpse of it, right?
What I got to love to see, man, is first things first, I think big boy Landon came down and put Jalen Warren down on the ground pretty hard. And he went down, said some words to him as he was looking down at him. And the next rep, though, you got to give low boy some credit, getting back on his horse and hitting the high thing and putting his ass back on his ground, Landon that is, and giving him a little flex up in there. So obviously, it's all love.
He was taking him off the field,
but you know how how it got to be. I mean, to see this much passion and I guess still coming down to love at the end of the day is such a good thing for the team bonding. And again, Coach Tomlin's been doing some media stuff as of lately. I don't know if you've seen what I've seen, but days of old,
you could tell he's got some giddy.
He's got it's like younger Tomlin again. It seems like he's kind of gone stale, or like the cobwebs have started to form over the past few years. But he's
rejuvenated,
got a rejuvenation. He's got so much more juice and is very active when talking to all the media and stuff like that. Whereas he used to be stone cold business. I'm out of here. But now he's giving jokes. He seems juiced about the squad that we're creating. So I think Justin Fields and a lot of these younger pieces have a lot to do with it, man.
And you know who I'm glad to have on my sideline now? And Tomlin said this. I think Tomlin's favorite acquisition this offseason was Patrick Queen.
Oh, yeah. Well, you see
he has been hammering guys, bro.
Well, and you see how he's also chirping with all of the Baltimore players. There's still beef across the side, and he's posting the video of him watering the grass over here, how it's greener, and he's saying just how of a city and the food. He's dissing their food over there, bro. He's saying it's so much better over here, and it's crazy. Just I love seeing it, and really can't wait.
Baltimore players said, Baltimore defensive players told their offensive players that they wanna do some dirty things to him come week 14.
Oh yeah.
The offensive players want to lay a bounty on him, so it's gonna be fireworks, bro.
Hey, but we'll be ready.
When we play that first time, it's gonna be fireworks.
You know that's just seeing how it's all forming with the Landon and, like you said, Peyton Wilson, man. These guys are gonna be
who we got to talk about. We got to talk about Peyton later.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be a tight unit though. Like I really want this to be a rejuvenation of that Woodley Harrison kind of days where the linebackers are just thrashers and really trying to get after, but. really like where we're going, man. And people are still sleeping on us. I don't know if you're keeping up with the latest tabs with what Vegas has us for over under this season. They got us at 8.5 wins, and the under is hitting right now. It's continuing the disrespect. I think a lot of places got us finishing.
We got 9 wins with Kenny.
9 wins with Kenny.
And Kenny is now taking third string reps for the Eagles.
And we went 10-7. We went 10-7, and we're a playoff team with the carousel of quarterbacks we had last year. Yes, the back end of the schedule is brutal, but that's why the script writers have the hard knocks coming through the AFC North the last, whatever it is, 8 weeks of the season.
Yeah, the latter half of the season.
You know it's going to be theater. You know people are going to be tuning in. This is Steelers football.
Yeah,
this is the biggest brand.
Steelers football,
this is the biggest brand of football and, honestly, sports, point blank period in the world. They know what it is, and we're going to come to show up.
Yep. I don't want to stray too far from – I want to stay on the defensive side for a second because one great acquisition that honestly people have been sleeping on, because obviously we had the loss of Deontay, but we had the arrival of Dante Jackson, and reports are that he's been stellar. Quick twitch, cornerback, everything that you want, really moves his hip well, and he's been given George Pickens fits in training camp. They asked George Pickens like 2 or 3 days into camp, who have you most been impressed with? They said Dante Jackson.
Wow, and that's giving flowers, because if wide receivers given grace to some of the boys that are covering them, they ain't really ever trying to do that often. So.
And the reason I like that is because of what the implications of Dante Jackson complimenting Joey Porter Jr. So now you probably can agree to this. I'm willing to let Joey Porter Jr. live in single coverage and not have any help.
Island, the best guy.
Yeah, I'll let him live on an island, so that can open up the field for Minka to now go back into being a free roamer, like like your boy Troy Polamalu. So I really love how the secondary is assembling. It's been one of the biggest highlights in camp, especially if Dante can hold his own, if Joey Porter can hold his own. Now Minka's probably like, all right, I'm going to do I'm going to be instinctual. I'm going to jump to the ball and be Minka. Yeah. So I think we're going to, how many picks did Minka have? Did he even have a pick last year?
I don't know if he did. I know he was injured with, I'd say, over half of the games he was probably out with it, but he always bears injury. And again, like we were saying, our linebackers were so thin last year with injury and just honestly placement at that position in general. So he would have to come and stack the box and not be able to let it play out and use his instincts. So definitely going to be happy to have him back there. Also with Deshaun Elliott.
Yep.
I mean,
Deshaun Elliott,
we got some killers.
He's been good,
there, man.
He's
the
been good.
Secondary, which has been a bleeding issue over the past few years, is seeming to finally get restored. And again, this is one thing as a Steelers fan. It's just going into the season, you see these leaking areas finally get patched. We had not even patched, but maybe a full restoration, starting with the cornerback position. It looks like after what we thought was going to be a stretch. I mean, you look at what we had last year with Levi and Pat P, brother. We were getting gashed left and right.
Patrick Peterson with that one.
Yeah, I'll go right over.
I'll clip that one.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Just to see that completely switch, and then how all of the injuries we had at linebacker to get a Patrick Queen, to get a Peyton Wilson, to fix that for the long run. These are some young, talented guys in here.
I think you're missing out the biggest
O-line.
Who Tomlin said in his interviews this week is his most excited group to work with going into camp because of the young talent. And can we stick to here for a second? Speaking of O-line, can we give a little bit of flowers to Troy Fautanu?
Oh, come on, baby.
So Troy Fautanu, it's been a battle. So they moved Troy Fautanu to right tackle, and that gets the assignment with none other than your boy TJ Watt. What, 4-time, 5-time All-Pro, 1-time Defensive Player of the Year. Have fun with that.
Should be 3.
But he held his own.
Yeah.
So they've been going back to, TJ's had his wins, but Troy has had his wins.
He's held his own.
And I'm liking to hear that. Of course, too, what's his name? Zach Frazier's starting to look good as well. So, but McCormick, they said he's a big, hefty guy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we got depth all throughout the position, whether a lot of guys got tons of talent. Not all of them are going to make the starting roster, unfortunately, but to know that such an aggressive position as the O-line, to know that you got 2 to 3 good depth pieces in there that can be rotated around, because all these guys really have been moving around some of the right guards to left and vice versa. So it's good
well-rounded.
It's good to see that they can kind of move around, and thankfully kind of to tie it all back, man. These position groups that have been so lackluster over the past few years. I mean, linebacker, you think since the Shazier days.
Yeah.
Cornerback, you think since the Hilton, Joe Hayden,
Yeah,
those type
yeah.
of days. And O-line, I mean, low-key Super Bowl days with
Yeah,
Pouncey,
yeah.
DeCastro,
Or
all
that
those
Bell, that
guys.
triple B era with
Oh, yeah, that
Pouncey,
was
DeCastro, and all them. Yeah.
pretty good as well. But finally, we're able to hit these, and again, the wide receiver 2 issue that has continued to be
Yeah,
addressed. I think if
let's
we
sit
can,
here because I was about to bring up Roman Wilson. Because if you haven't heard, Roman Wilson, you saw that he sprained his ankle, taken out in a cart. Honestly, that may have been a little dramatic. He wasn't like laying back on the cart; he was sitting upright. So
and it's precautionary. You look at
Yeah.
Latrobe, you got damn near a mile uphill. I think if you got a tweaky ankle in the beginning,
Yeah.
you're not going to want to risk walking a mile uphill. So the cart, just an over precaution, but
Yeah.
looks like he should be good to go
Yeah.
come preseason games.
Yeah, so I mean, we talked about it, and I've told you, man. I still do think wide receiver 2 is our biggest area of improvement as a roster. But if you haven't been keeping up with the camp, let me fill you in. Van Jefferson has devoted time after practice to continue Antonio Brown's ritual of 300 balls on the jugs machines after practice. And not only that, but he's been kicking ass in practice too. You see his touchdown?
Torching
I sent
people,
you.
yeah.
I sent you the one touchdown, but he's been killing it in the red zone. I mean, for the time being, I mean, I still would love to pick someone up, but if Van Jefferson's going to play like this, and before Roman Wilson got hurt, he was getting people's jaw to drop.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
And Calvin's even been making some
Cal-
noise as
yeah,
well. He's been
yeah.
getting some high praise from Russell Wilson, at least as the days were going on earlier in OTAs and things of that sort. So don't think, again, to your point, that we need to really hit the panic button. I know Brandon Ayuk is continuing to request trades and work on his hold-in.
Oh, yeah. There's a
over in
lot of
San
storyline
Francisco. Even DK Metcalf, the name's floating around. But to your point, I think we could honestly go into the season feeling pretty good, knowing especially our identity is going to be a good run game and
the play action.
and the play
Yeah.
action, utilizing the weapons. You got a good deep ball threat in GP. So I think
I mean, that's not even mentioning Pat Fryermuth and his abilities too.
Completely,
So
completely.
we got playmakers that can make plays. You know, not every time are you going to be able to have that soft cushion of being, having a GP and a Brandon Ayuk and or a DK Metcalf. But
and knowing that the money we're gonna have due across to some of these cats
Oh,
coming
yes.
up here soon, it's like we're not gonna want to throw all that into a guy in Brandon Ayuk.
fill people
which,
in because I'm not sure everyone knows our cap situation.
Oh yeah, so one thing we could be doing to allude to Steelers making a move soon is we just restructured which contract
Holcomb's.
was it? Yeah, Chris
Holcomb's,
Holcomb. So
among
obviously
others.
he's trying to get back from his injury, but restructured his salary, making a few extra million in there. So we got a little bit of room to move this season, but looking into next season, we're gonna have about $100 million in free cap. So we're really going to be set up. Obviously, we're going to have to get a quarterback deal done somewhere in that mix. Probably look to lock in GP or Fryermuth at this point. But looks like we're in a very good situation. Omar Khan is the king of the salary cap. So very, very good trust in that. But whether we make a move now or wait until in season to fully make a stab is hopefully things shift or drop down a little bit. We'll see, but it looks like we're pretty confident with the group of guys we have.
Yeah, things haven't been getting hotter with the Brandon Ayuk stuff. If you've been paying attention to body language and everything, they caught a video of him at the San Francisco camp dapping up everyone and then bolting out.
Almost as if saying goodbye.
Yeah.
Or
So, you know how Steelers Twitter is gonna be like, he's out, and then after that, what happened? Oh yeah, so he didn't show up the next day to practice. So, I mean, I don't think we're going to see Brandon Ayuk back in a 49ers uniform. But shortly after Brandon Ayuk says goodbye, Omar Khan reworks all these contracts, opens up even more space for a potential renewed contract for Ayuk. So we'll see what ends up happening. I know the Patriots in the mix. The Brownies are one of the teams that are talking to the
Browns
49ers.
have been cooking, bro. They got Vrabel on their squad now too. Is just
Wait, Vrabel?
He's a consultant for Cleveland
Oh,
now, bro. I'm
gosh.
telling you, they're cooking, man. I know a lot of people are saying it's crazy. We made some Super Bowl predictions earlier a few weeks back, and I said I think Cleveland had a chance of getting there, honestly. So we got a tough division in house, but yeah, I think we can continue to strap down the hatches and do what we need to do to get it done. But with that being said, What was the next talking point you wanted to go over?
Yeah, I mean, we talked backs and backers. Really, what we need to focus on next is the preseason. So the first preseason games coming up this Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We're hosting the Texans. I was telling you earlier. I presume that right now, I mean, just based off of the precaution that we're taking with Russ, I don't think we're going to see
I
Russ
would
in
agree with
game
that.
one.
I would agree.
I think we'll eventually see him in game two, but
For
I think
sure.
Justin takes the reps with the ones, and honestly, the media is going to take a storm. Like they're going to make this a storm because
Oh yeah.
the fact that they're already seeing Justin with the ones. This
They're
is going to
already
be the
making-
biggest ESPN headline
For sure.
going into preseason. So we take on the Texans, so it'll be a great little measuring stick to see, how
With
our
an
offense,
AFC
yeah,
high
yeah.
composing component or
Yeah.
opponent. How?
But I mean, I only want one or two series. Let Justin run some play action, see how the offensive line holds up, and then get those dudes out of there because I want everyone healthy come week one. But
most definitely.
that's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to. Plus, I mean, going back to it earlier, I want to see some of these rookies, particularly Peyton Wilson, who
Mm-hmm.
obviously Luke Kuechly hiked him up, and he's just been performing so well. People are saying, oh, he's performing so well, but we still have to, let him develop. I'm like, man, if he's performing well, maybe throw him in the fire, man.
Well, again, like we look at how Herbig, we felt like we were kind of choking his leash back last season, but when we let him go, man, he was flying all over
Yep.
the place, sacking McPherson, or not McPherson,
Geno Smith.
Geno
He
Smith.
had that strip sack.
Oh, that was crazy.
Only-
But then he also had the one darting in. Who's the Bengals backup boy?
McPherson. That's
you know
the
who I'm
kicker.
talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
yeah.
The
But
Bengals backup
came in,
quarterback.
ripped
Yeah,
him
yeah.
down and again that was off of I think he had one play that game and that was it coming right
Yeah.
down the middle for a sack.
And
so
he
it's
only
like,
got 2 or 3 snaps against Seattle, and immediately he had the strip sack
immediate
that
impact.
basically won the game.
sealed it.
So
Yeah, for sure. I think Tomlin from experience. Obviously, we threw Broderick, or I guess we waited on him a little in the mix. So I think we've gotten more comfortable. Obviously, JPJ, whenever he was going, we were holding his leash tight in the beginning, and then he became a definitive starter that was locking down wide receiver ones. So
there's
I
a
think,
slight culture shift, bro. Because
Definitely.
at the time right now, Troy Fatanu's been starting. Zach Frazier's been starting. I think that there may be a little less reluctancy to have these guys sit. Have them develop. No, bro. Like I think Tomlin's
we
gonna
need to
throw
hit the ground running.
Yeah, the days are over, bro. We've had way too bad of a running game, way too bad of pass protection. Like it's time, and Tomlin knows that, and that's why Fatanu's been starting all of camp. I mean, at first he didn't, but then they slotted him in. He hasn't looked back. He's been holding that position. So
Rightfully deserved too. I mean, you're gonna put your first round draft pick in there. You want to see these guys touch the ground and be ready to go come week one because when we look at the way our schedule pans out, obviously everyone's aware of how the back end looks. But on this front end, these are games we need to take advantage of. And if they can be quote unquote layups a week here, a week there, we need to be capitalizing on them and using those as the reps to get these guys ready for what's to come on the back end of the season if we're really chasing number 7. So think we got a good squad. Like you said, Thursday, or I guess Friday night, we got the Texans game coming on. Should be exciting just to see kind of where we compare. Then following that, we got the Bills and then closing the preseason off with the Lions. So those are 3 teams right there that all were in the playoffs last season, likely will be in the playoffs this season. So should be a good test. Obviously, don't want to jump the gun and make a bunch of presumptions.
man, I'm just gonna say it
preseason.
already, bro. I'm gonna overreact. We're all gonna overreact, but
yeah.
that's part of the process.
Well, and that's-
you know how it was with Kenny.
Oh yeah, but that's what the Steelers do. I mean, truth be told, go check me back. I think the past 3 seasons we have not lost a preseason game. So,
Yeah, we have the longest winning streak right
yeah.
now going on.
So we take this shit seriously. It seems like whether that's a weird odd flex or not, it'll be exciting to see football back on the screen nonetheless.
Yep.
So with that being said, we'll definitely tune back in after that Texans game. Get ready to.
we'll be
run some-
recording promptly after.
Oh yeah,
we'll
we're
break
ready
it
to
all
see
down.
some live action play of Justin Fields pulling around and making some magic happen. But until then, fingers crossed for no more injuries. Let's continue to get through this last few weeks of practice and hit this preseason.
Yes, sir.
Anything else before we head out?
No, 5 more Sundays from now, we are kicking it off. So let's get it going.
Let's go.
Baby.
Oh, and with that being said, I will be in Atlanta. If we got any people out in the Dirty Bird region, holler at your boy. I'm going to be repping proudly with Steeler Nation in the road. You know it's going to be a takeover. That's going to be a home game regardless.
Yes,
so
sir. And we
let's
just secured, Pierce and I have secured our tickets to Pittsburgh for October 6th between the Cowboys and the Steelers, Sunday Night Football. So we will also be there. Let's stream live. Let's stream live there. All
Hey,
right.
but I still got a sour taste in my mouth from the way Zeke Elliott broke through the gates and spoiled the fake spike Big Ben to AB game. So we need to get that one flushed for that.
Yep.
But we're ready for the season to start. We know you guys are too. But with that being said, we'll catch you guys next time. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.